Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Today I'm going to be doing a detailed review of this. It's the Adria Matrix Supreme 670 DC and it's the motorhome we've currently got on a long-term loan through Cara Motorhomes. So if you're interested in an older Adria Matrix or Coral, then this may be of interest to you. And when I say older, this is a 2020 model, so it's 3 years old, but Matrix and Coral did change in 2021 to what we now consider the new model. However, what I'll do in this, I'll talk about layouts so you get a bit more of an understanding about Coral and Matrix and layouts and the differences, and talk about some of the features that you might want to add to your motorhome if you've currently got an Adria on order or thinking of ordering one. So let's make a start. So this, as I say, is the Matrix, and the Supreme is the top of the range model, hence it's completely silver. What do we need to know about it? Well, it is on a Fiat cab and chassis. As we can see, the cab is silver and the sides are aluminium and silver. This model has a 2.3 litre diesel engine. It does have an AdBlue tank, which is 19 litres, and this one is the 160 brake horsepower. You can get these engines in 140, 160 and 180. We've had 180 before on our compact DL, and between the 160 and the 180 there's not much in it, if I'm honest. Engine, that's covered. Gearbox, this is a manual 6-speed. They do have an automatic. It's up to you which you prefer. Weight wise, now interestingly, this motorhome was 3,650 kilos. After our visit to the weighbridge, which there is a link below to that vlog, we have upplated the Matrix to 4,000 kilos or 4 tons. So we've gone up, and to do that, we've also added some air suspension. I'm going to cover air suspension and upplating in a separate vlog, but that's where we're at right now. Lengthwise, Matrix and Coral, they're both going to be around 7.5 metres long. So these are long motorhomes, you can see from the overhang at the back. Width, we're at 2.3 metres in total width. Height, it was 2.8 metres, but it now has air conditioning on it, so that takes it to about 3 metres and 10 centimetres. So always be mindful if you add things to the roof. Payload, originally it had around 500 kilos of payload, however it's had loads of extras put on it, and as I say, we went to the weighbridge and it was a little bit surprising. We were under, but we didn't have much left. So that is a basic run through of what we've got, weights and measures. Right, let's carry on down. So as we head down into the habitation area, you can see we've got a big wind out 2-lay awning or canopy. That originally was a manual wind out, the one you do that with. We've had added onto that by Cara the automatic wind out, so it now does it at the press of a button. Again, I've done a vlog about that and I'll put that down there. If you wanted to convert the manual to the automatic, it's about £650, and for me that's been an amazing addition. When I'm by myself, I use that canopy like all the time now. Coming further down, this is your electric hookup point. Now at the moment we are actually totally off grid. You can see the sea. We're on a beautiful CS near Hartlepool. £12 a night for this, and it is absolutely stunning. So we don't have our electric hooked up, but if you did, that's where it's going to go. Obviously next we have our habitation door. It's a one-piece door. The windows are quite tinted. We've got the black decals. This is an additional Fiamma lock. Now Fiamma do locks, 2-lay do locks. Good additions to motorhomes for garages and doors. So yeah, these are definitely worth considering adding by your dealer. Then you can see we've got our vents for the tower fridge freezer. We'll see that when we go inside. We have obviously got the 16-inch alloy wheels. They're a bit mucky at the moment, so hopefully Cara won't see what a poor job I've done of cleaning those. I've cleaned the rest of it though, obviously. Coming down, now the good thing about Adria's and most of the European motorhomes is the garage. You get a really good sized garage. Now this is an island bed, so it does take a little bit of height from the garage compared to the longitudinal beds, which could give you a higher garage. Let me open this up. So there's 2 doors into the garage. When you open this up, you can see what I mean about the height. So if you're considering your layouts, whether to get a fixed island bed or the twin beds at the back, the longitudinal, you will lose a little bit of garage height with an island bed. But otherwise in here, we've got a plug socket, we've got 12 volt, we've got lights. There's little hooks down the side so you can tie things down. We do carry our e-bikes in here. What you do have to think about is the axle limit though. Your rear axle is really important. Because we've had the air suspension fitted on the back, we can now put more weight in the garage because the axle will take more weight. So just be mindful of that when you're adding things. I'll close the garage up. We've got another one of these Fiamma locks, again for security, and this is a gas barbecue point. Doesn't come as standard, but again, you can ask your dealer to fit that. Cara have fitted most of these additional points and options on this motorhome as opposed to at the Adria factory. So again, all these are extras. So gas barbecue if you enjoy barbecuing outdoors. Back of the motorhome. Now this is where you're going to notice the biggest change between this model and the new model. The new model has slimline LED lights, whereas this is still the older style back of the motorhome. As you can see, we've got a bike rack. Now it comes with pre-installation, all Adrias do, apart from obviously twins. And on these you can fit Thule, you can fit Fiamma. This one is a Fiamma one, so as you can see, good size. What I would say again, if you're having a bike rack fitted, one, think about the weight at the back, but two, if you're smaller like me, one thing I found is actually lifting your bike up onto here, if you're small, is almost impossible. You can get bike racks that actually lower down to make loading easier, so just think about that. We have got a reversing camera, that's the Camos camera, that's the slightly older model as well, but again works perfectly well, and this model also has reversing sensors on the back. Before I go on to the near side, just up on the roof, this model, the person that bought this from new, fitted everything. It's got 200 watts of solar panels on top, it's got air conditioning, which I'll show you about that inside. We've also got an aerial, and we've got motorhome Wi-Fi. So loads of stuff going on that roof. On the near side, we've got another Fiamma lock for security. I'll open the garage on this side just so you can see in here. So you can see there we've got plenty of room. We haven't got a spare wheel on this model. You can buy spare wheels. Most of them will come with a puncture repair kit. What I'll say about if you have a puncture, I had a blowout on the M42 a couple of years ago in our compact. Again, there was a vlog about that. And because the tyre blew out, a puncture repair kit was no use at all. And I had to ring Caravan Guard, who I'm insured with, and get recovered. So just think about things like that. Not that you want it to happen, obviously, but just always be prepared. Water. So this is where the water goes in, fresh water. This model has a 140 litre fresh water tank. Some of the newer model Adrias actually have smaller water tanks now, so always check the one you're purchasing. You can also feed water directly into the motorhome with an aqua roll and a pump. This is where you connect the pump, runs off 12 volt system, so fine if you're off grid. So you can fill the motorhome with water if you don't want to drive off your pitch to a tap. So that's water. Carry on down the near side. Toilet cassette. The flush system runs off the fresh water system, but that's where you empty your toilet cassette. Gas locker, really good size gas locker. We've got our 10 kilogram safe fill in there. It will take 2 11 kilogram bottles of whatever you choose to use. So a good amount of gas you can take. What this one's had fitted as well, if you can just see here, this is the gas low point. Now, we don't use the gas low system. As far as I know, you buy literally a gas low bottle, which you put in there. It all connects up, and then you actually just refill your gas low through this point here. I use the safe fill, which is refillable. It's not like Cala, you can take that and refill it. So that's the system I use. But the gentleman that had this motorhome before from new, he had that fitted. Then we've got the vent for the Truma. This model has Truma air-blown heating and the hot water. Some of the Matrixes, you can specify if you want the Alder wet central heating. You can do that. It does take longer to heat up when you're on site, and it is heavier because obviously you've got all that water in the system. Is it worth it? Don't know, good question. I've had Alder on a Caravan, that was great. But on the motorhome, when you park up on site and you want it warm and quick, the air blown, to be honest, you don't think you can beat it. Coming down, just last thing on the the near side, This is where you fill your diesel and your AdBlue, so that goes in there. And then we can just see round the front, we've got our wing mirrors. They're electrically operated, but not electrically folding. And then at the front on the Adria, you've got the Adria badge instead of the Fiat badge. You've got the Adria up there. You can see the nice shape of the cab. It was clean, but unfortunately it rained with sand and now it's not as clean as it should be. And that really is the exterior. So let's venture in, if you want to follow me in. So as you'll see, first of all, I've got my two-lay step. This again is something that's an extra. If you want any of these sort of extras fitted, speak to your dealer. Equally, speak to Cara Motorhomes, because I would 100% recommend them for fitting equipment to your motorhome. The level of care they take is fabulous, so 100% recommendation. Door handle, nice little bin, and then we'll venture in. I'll take my shoes off. Right, so soon as we come in, what we've got here, now this is the electric step button, so that's been fitted there, and this is for the Canopy electric, as I said. Again, that's been fitted by Cara. I'll let Jules join me inside. Now, I'll try and cover as much as I can in here. So as I say, this is a Matrix motorhome. The other option is a Coral. And I'll go through the differences and the layouts, because it can be a little bit confusing with what DC, DL, SL, SP, SC, these different initials mean. Up front, you can see we've got our two captain's chairs. These both swivel round, and these are brilliant seats. What I like about captain's chairs, you've got your armrests, you can do whatever you want with them, recline them a bit, whatever you want. Nice view out the window to that sea. As I say, this one's manual, so we've got our manual gear stick here. This is where we're going to find the navigation and the reversing camera on this model. The newer units are a little bit different, but this is the Fiat Ducato that was available on the 2020. Additional security, I've got a Maypole wheel lock. I'll just, it's not on because obviously I want to show you it. A bit of additional security, literally for, you know, 25 to 50 pounds, a little steering wheel lock is brilliant. We do on this have fitted a tracker and an alarm. That's by Scorpion Automotive. I will put a link in the description below. They are very good. We've had a couple of trackers now on the motorhomes that we owned, and we've been very impressed with the Scorpion service. So again, that is a recommendation. We'll move up now. What I always like in the Adria is the big sunroof. So you can see here, letting plenty of light in. It's got a fly screen, it's got a blind, and it does open. Now, the difference with Coral, if you're wondering the difference, literally, the Coral is a 4-berth motorhome. If you're wanting to take 4 people away, the Matrix is a 4-berth motorhome. If you're wanting to take 4 people away or more, it's a Matrix, because you've got this big drop-down bed, which is here above me. The drop-down bed is electrically operated. You literally press the button and down it comes, and you press it back up and up it goes. It does have some nice little lights in here, but what it does do is, I'll stand on the next floor. It doesn't bother me because I'm not that tall, but it does mean you've got less headroom, and obviously you haven't got a sunroof here. Now on Coral, the difference with Coral is a 2 to 3 berth motorhome, and Coral does not have the drop down bed. So that is literally what the difference is with Matrix and Coral. So if it's literally a couple, you may well be best with Coral, because you're going to get more payload because you don't have the weight of this bed, and you will get a nice sunroof as well. So that's something to think about. Lounge area. This model is the DC. The D in Adria means dinette. Basically, you're going to get 2 seats like this. If you see S, so if it was an SC, S basically means it's a sofa. It'll come out further here, and it'll be more of an L shape there, and then you'll have a smaller seat here. So those are the differences. So this is D. S, as I say, is more of a sofa shape. We've actually changed the seats. This shouldn't look like this. But what's nice here is with this cushion here, which shouldn't be here, you do get it with it, but it's for travelling, I think, as opposed to for sitting. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable. Table-wise, you do get, let me just lift this up, you do get a really good sized table, and I've just left this unhinged or unlocked just so I can demonstrate to you that you can push this around to move it to wherever you're sitting to eat. So you can get 6 people around this table. It's also really good because in a motorhome, you don't have much worktop space, as you probably realised. Don't just be closed and think this is a table. This can be used for worktop space as well. So think outside the box a bit. You might not have much space there, but you've got it here. So table, and when you don't want it out, you just fold it away and you lock it in place for travelling. But as I say, it moves about quite nicely and freely all over the place. So that's the table. Right, I'll just jump down. I'll just go through a couple of the cupboards. I mean, we've got, as you say, a couple of lights dotted around. We've got the net curtains, blinds all the way around, fly screens, and the blinds are these plastic type, which I know some people aren't keen on these. And you might think, why has a top-end motorhome got plastic? It's just the way it works in Europe, a lot of Europe, and certainly with Adria. It's just the way it is. Cupboards. So we've got 2 little cupboards up here. They're not overly deep, but they are quite tall. And then on this side, I'll just clamber around. Again, we've got 2 on this side, same thing. I won't go through them all. Under here, we've got a little USB as well, so that's useful on your 12-volt system. Right, I'll come down into the, in fact, yeah, I'll come down to the kitchen and then I'll go over here. So kitchen, this isn't a cupboard. The drop-down bed, you make sure you've got that off. We'll come down and settle around here. So this isn't cupboard space. We've got a good cupboard up there. That's fairly useful for tea bags. Then we do have some plug sockets under here. We've got an extractor fan. There's a couple of lights. The splashback illuminates. This is the Dometic. This is literally how I have the motorhome. So I haven't tied everything away for you guys. This is literally it. I'm a little bit basic, as you probably already know. Dometic, 3 gas burners. You won't get electric on a lot of European motorhomes. They stick with the gas. They do like the gas systems. They're off-grid a lot. So 3 gas burning rings. I use a whistling kettle. I don't have an electric kettle, so that's a good job because we're off-grid today. So gas kettle. Sink. So you get these little covers. I always have those in place when I'm not using the motorhome or when I'm travelling. So they're in place there. Obviously your hot and cold water tap. Then we've got a Thetford oven and grill. It's an all-in-one and it's not bad. It does. You can do little bits in there. Underneath, just drop that down. A little bit of storage under there. Then we've got a couple of drawers. I won't bore you to death with all those. This is sort of the deeper one, and that's why I keep all our bowls and plates. And I use plastic, because it doesn't break. It doesn't weigh a lot and it's cheap as chips, and you can take it away for the day if you go somewhere else and you want to carry it somewhere. So yeah, do what works for you. That's what I'd say. And if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. So, okay, on to the offside of the Matrix. This is the button to operate the bed up and down. I won't press it now because Jules is under it and I don't want to crush him. So that's the button there. This is the control panel. Now, it is really easy to use, on and off. We've got switches for lights, water. It'll tell you how much fresh water you've got, that's this button here, and how much grey wastewater you've got, that's the red button, currently at 0%. It has got a little bit in, but it won't show until 25. It's got a 90-litre waste tank, so that is a really good capacity. The fresh, I'm at 25%. As I say, that's 140 litres. And this is going to tell you the temperature inside and outside. This button's going to tell you the charge, whether you're drawing on your battery or putting charge in. We're currently drawing. Now, what's really interesting, and I know this is quite a detailed review and I don't want to sort of bore the socks off people, but it's quite interesting is this. We're off grid. This motorhome has got 1 leisure battery under there, I believe, and it's got 200 watts of solar panel. Now, when we got this motorhome and John told me it had 200 watts on it, I thought, that's a little bit excessive, I think. However, interesting enough, last night when we arrived on site, our batteries, cab and habitation, were at over 14 volts. Last night when we went to bed after being off grid and using various bits, the batteries had dropped down to 13 volts. Just press that. So they were down to 13 volts, which was, so we'd lost a bit. However, within an hour of the sun coming up, we were back to 14.2 on the front and 14.1 just under there. And that was within an hour, first thing this morning, of just having a little bit of sun. So that's given me a huge amount of confidence in going off grid and solar. I mean, it's up at 15 now, it's going berserk. Truma, this is your Truma panel. So this is where you're going to heat your hot water and your heating, and also the air conditioning unit, which I'll show you in a minute. I haven't got that turned on because we don't need it. We're not heating water. Because we're off grid, it'll use gas. And I don't want to drain all my gas over the couple of days that we're away. But that's what will happen if you're off grid. You will have to use your gas as opposed to your electric for heating and hot water. Fridge and freezer time. I love my Thetford Tower fridge freezers, and this is what I've got. 142 litres. It runs on electric when you're on hookup, and when you're off grid like today, it runs off gas. Pretty efficient, to be fair. I've just got it on setting 1. I'll just let you have a quick look. I don't want all my cold air to go out, but plenty of space, good size freezer compartment. This is my favourite Tower fridge freezer, if I'm honest. Had that in my Adria caravan, and I love it. Right, let's jump up here. So I've gone up a step. This cupboard, this is where the television is. So we've got an Avtex television. I think it's 19.5 inches. It's in there. Basically, I won't get that out now, but you slide it out on this bracket, slides out, and then you can turn it round, and it either faces the cab, so you can watch it up front, or it swings round and you can watch it in the bedroom as well. So it literally comes all the way out here, and you can turn it wherever you want to watch it from wherever you want. Just be mindful when it is out, it does make it a little bit more difficult to get into the fridge, and you can bang your head on it. I'm talking from experience. We've got another sunroof here as well, letting plenty of light in. I think I've covered everything on there. We've just got obviously some little light switches and various bits and pieces there. Right, let's venture back. So let me go down here. So storage, there's a little compartment under the floor there, and then under the island bed there's a little bit of storage there. We've just got water, because we drink fresh water for tea and coffee. We don't drink out of the tap, just personal choice. And a little drawer pull out there. Now this bed, this is the island bed. So the C, when you talk about beds on Adrias, C is the central island bed. So if you see a C, you're going to get a bed like this. If you see L, so like D, L, S, L, L is the longitudinal beds, and that's what we had in our Adria Compact. So if you remember our Adria Compact DL, it had 2 long single beds here. You can look back on those videos to see what I'm talking about. But it had 2 really long beds here, a little step up, and that was that layout. This is the C, so this is the island bed. This is a huge bed, 6 foot 3 inches long and 150 centimetres wide. It is absolutely massive. It's currently pushed back in day mode. To pull it out, literally put your hand under here and pull, and I can do that myself, so it is easily done. If I'm honest, pushing it back in, I have to use quite a bit of force for me personally to push it in. It does take quite a bit of push on the mechanism, but for most other people I'm sure you'd manage it quite easily. I just don't have that massive physical strength to do it. Cupboard space, you've got your wardrobes. So wardrobes on each side, they are illuminated. My stuff isn't hanging up, it's just down at the bottom there. It's just what I like to do. The aerial comes in here, and that's also the aerial point there. It'll tell you how much signal you've got and help you set your aerial up. Then we've got these overhead lockers. So again, I won't open all of them, but 3 overhead lockers. Got some lights under here and USB chargers. These are our cables. This is where I charge my phone every night, so that's what they're doing here. Got a nice little sort of shelf bit there if you want to put drinks and stuff on it. There's a wardrobe on the other side, that's obviously exactly the same. Then you've got the big sunroof, that opens, and that's lovely when the weather's warm. It's got fly screen and blind. We've also got the windows on each side as well. So I'll just step down now. Air conditioning unit, that's just up here. So the aircon unit, this one is the Truma Aventa. The Aventa just blows cold air. The Truma Comfort will do cold and warm air. We had a Comfort on our Compact DL, and I like that one myself. That would be the one I would choose. So this is what was obviously fitted. This will only work if you're on electric hookup. It is not going to work off your 12-volt system. They're pretty quiet, they're very efficient. It runs off your Truma control panel once it's been fitted, and you do get a remote control as well, so you can obviously use your remote control. Right, I'll let Jules head over here and I will show you the shower room next. So we'll do a little swap around. Right, I'll move that there. Okay, so first of all, what we've got here, this door, this does slide across and it closes here, so it gives you additional privacy, as well as this door that closes here. Do you want to make your way that way, Jules? I'll just let him move around so we can get the best angle. There we go. Right, so doors closed, privacy from that part. So if there are 4 of you, you have got that privacy, and you can close this, and then the bedroom's sectioned off as well. This is sort of the toilet washroom area. Not a massive space, but obviously with the door open, it gives you more room. Thetford swivel toilet. These little vents here, this is part of the Truma air blown, and they're dotted around all over the motorhome. A little bit of worktop space. Soap holder. There is a toothbrush holder. We've got the fruit bowl sink and tap, obviously hot and cold. Good size mirror. If you're wondering, if you've got a Matrix or Coral and you've no idea where your light switch is, it's under here, look. I know that because I reckon we spent 10 minutes looking for that light switch when we picked the motorhome up, and there, that's how I know where that is. So a nice, so I'll just do that again, nice illuminated mirror, that is really nice. And then we've got some little pegs there for hanging towels on. These are our body rags. I've spoken about body rag towels before. These are absolutely brilliant for motorhoming and caravanning. We've got cupboard space. In fact, I'll keep that one closed because it'll block your view. But basically, I've got a stash of toilet rolls. It's like I'm going to have a bit of an incident or something. But yeah, I've got loads of toilet rolls. And that one's got my toiletries in, but I don't think you'll be able to see in there. And then there's just some little cupboard bits down here. So I'll just squat down. There's 2 cupboards there. So some space to put bits in. And then, as I say, the Thetford loo, which is a good height as well. It's got the little pedestal bit at the bottom, so that does add extra height. Some motorhomes I've recently found don't have that, and their toilets seem a little bit low. Right, I'll just close this door. Okay. Last but not least, we've got the shower. So to get in here, literally, there you go. Now, the shower, it's not a bad size. You do get intrusion because obviously, there you can see that's over the wheel. So we do lose some there, but floor space is good. It's got 2 plugs. And what I like is on here, there's like a little shelf bit here. So you can put your toilet, your shower gel, shampoo or whatever on there as well. It has got lights. So it's well illuminated in here. There's an air vent as well for warm air at the bottom. It's got the roof light, and it's got a rail for hanging your towels once you've finished. I'll just close that. The only thing I found, because I do use the shower on board probably 90% of the time, and the only thing I found with this one is sometimes the water, it does splash out here. So maybe use a bath mat if you're doing that, or maybe I just splash about too much, I don't know. So that is the shower. Right, I'll just venture back down here. So that is a more detailed look at the Adria Matrix Supreme 670 DC. And as I say, this is a 2020 model. So up until 2021, if you were looking at a motorhome, this is basically the colour scheme and the model features that you'd be looking at. Price-wise for these used, I mean, this one is absolutely kitted up. I know when we took this from Cara Motorhomes on loan, it was £77,000. Prices are still going up even in used, and we've had the air suspension fitted and the electric canopy. So this could even be more now. Mileage wise, we're at just under 10,000 miles. So it's, you know, it is low mileage for a 3-year-old motorhome. The new model, now this is what you've got to think about. If you wanted a new model Matrix or Coral like this, you'd be paying over £100,000. You'd be somewhere between 100 and 106,000, and that's not on the Mercedes, that's on the Fiat, which now you can get it on Mercedes. So it's just worth thinking about. Insurance wise, we are insured with Caravan Guard. I've insured this motorhome, although it's on loan, we've had to cover the insurance, which we've done that. I paid in April £623 to insure this motorhome. So it gives you an idea of insurance. Obviously, prices have gone up over the recent months. I will put a link in the description below to Caravan Guard. I'll put a link in the description below for Scorpion Automotive for the tracker and alarm, because I would recommend them. I'll put a link for the Maypole wheel lock, just because, again, tried and tested by us. These are good products. All these extras that are on here, I haven't got links for everything, but you can do a bit of research, or if you've got any questions, put them below and I will do my best to answer them. Hopefully you've had a little look around and it's given you a bit of an insight into Adria Motorhomes. But yeah, there we go. So as always, thanks to John and the team at Cara Motorhomes for the loan. When this goes back, and I don't know when it's going back, but I'll be sad when it does, but when it does go back, this will be for sale, and whoever buys this motorhome will have an absolute belter, because it is fantastic. It really is. So yeah, there we go. I'll wrap it up, and hopefully John can see that I'm looking after it and it's still in one piece. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.